Chainlink is doing incredibly well. In the last 24 hours, it went up by 12.3%. It's the top gainer in the top 100 cryptocurrencies. Does it make sense to buy Chainlink right now? In order to answer this question, we're going to look at back-tested technical indicators. So I've run a backtest trying to find out what are the best moving averages for Chainlink, but we're also going to look at relative performance, for example, relative to Ethereum or to the entire altcoin market, namely a measure called Total 3. So without further ado, there's a lot of things to discuss. Let's jump right in. Hi. So this is the rally I'm talking about, right? Since the 28th of May to today, Chainlink went up by 35%. And that's pretty impressive given the overall rather bearish momentum. Now, is this likely to continue? I think the picture is pretty mixed. So this is the Chainlink chart measured in Tether, measured in US dollars basically, together with two moving averages and also including a buffer band over here. So this is a bit of a complex topic. I've got a macro-enabled Excel sheet over here that looks at the data from the middle of January 2019 all the way to the beginning of April. And with this macro sheet, we can simulate buying and selling Chainlink. So the basic idea is relatively straightforward. We want to be betting on falling prices whenever the price is below the moving average, and we want to be betting on rising prices whenever the price is above the moving average. Basically following the overall trend, right? When we tend to rise, we are above the moving average. When we tend to fall, we are below. We're following the momentum. Now, when you do this, you want to find out what's the best duration for the moving average. That's what we have over here. So the daily durations. Let's look at this in chart form, and we can see the approach doesn't work that well for Chainlink, right? For other cryptocurrencies, we very often see an outperformance versus buying and holding. In black, we have the HODL line. But still, if we want to take a moving average, those are the best, the 11-day simple or the 17-day exponential moving average. And those are here plotted. You can also see a few thinner lines around this. This is an additional buffer that's also backtested. But let's not get too much into the details. There have been similar kinds of backtests made on this channel. I'm not going to repeat this all the time. Feel free to check out other related altcoin videos for this. Simply trust me on this. Historically, it would have been bullish if we cross those upper bands. So we would be actually buying here on the 7th of June, and we would be bullish on Chainlink following the momentum. The momentum now short-term looks positive. At least that's what the data, what's the backtest says. Now, here's why I say this is a bit of a mixed bag. There are two things going on here. First of all, we see relatively high trading volume right now. So I'm now looking at CoinMarketCap's trading volume, because the nice thing about the trading volume over here is that it aggregates the different exchanges, and we are relatively high on the trading volume right now, which is potentially a negative sign, because when trading volume is high, it tends to indicate that momentum turns around. So we had here high trading volume, we stop the decline, then trading volume goes down, we continue with the current momentum. When we zoom out a little bit more, right, we can see, for example, here at the beginning of 2022, trading volume was very high, and we then stopped our increase and we had our turnaround and we declined afterwards. So heightened trading volume is very often a sign for the current momentum to turn around. Here, look, for example, at the 6th of September of 2021, very high trading volume also tended to be the highest point in the price. So trading volume simply just means tokens go from one type of investor to the other, meaning the reference price changes, meaning very often the current momentum turns around. And we are not historically high on trading volume, but if we zoom in a little bit, it's still somewhat heightened. So this would indicate that maybe the current positive momentum turns around again and we could be falling. Now, another point, and this is, I think, actually the major point here. Another point is the relative valuation. So I personally, I don't really like to look at the US dollar valuation that much, because cryptocurrencies are very, very highly correlated to one another. So when we look, for example, here at the peak in May of 2021 in Chainlink, when we look at Bitcoin at the same time, we also had a relatively high price here. When we look at the bottom in July of 2021 in Bitcoin, when we look at the price in Chainlink, also happened in July of 2021. So you don't get too much knowledge by looking at the US dollar price. It's way better to look at relative valuations. Now, you could simply use Bitcoin. So this is the relative valuation to Bitcoin. This is the more common way of doing things. I personally like to rather look at the relative valuation to Ethereum or to Total 3. So first, let's start with Ethereum. Why do I like the relative valuation to Ethereum that much? It's because the correlation between Ethereum and altcoins is higher than the correlation between Bitcoin and altcoins. And that's because the nature of the investment might be more similar, right? Ethereum is more of a technology play. Bitcoin is more of a macro economy play. Ethereum could be regarded as the largest of the altcoins. So that's why I like to look at Ethereum's relative valuation, and we can see the long-term performance since July of 2020 basically is not positive versus Ethereum. An 85% underperformance. And we are in a pretty clear long-term downwards trend, now approaching one of the resistances. So we did shoot out once, right? That was in January of 2022. So that would be an additional potential increase of maybe 16, 17% or so, depending how quickly we go up. But the risk, right, in case we stay in this channel, it is massive. It is easy, a loss of 50%. Now, Total 3 is a similar kind of measure. Total 3 shows us the cryptocurrency market cap minus Bitcoin's market cap and minus Ethereum's market cap, meaning we are now looking at Chainlink's performance relative to the overall altcoin market. So we are not looking at the largest cryptocurrencies, we're just looking at altcoins market cap. And the picture, the chart is very similar. We are in a long-term downwards trend and we are approaching a current resistance. The potential gain is in a similar magnitude. And so even though the back test here suggests that maybe we might be picking up steam here, the outperformance versus buying and holding of those moving averages isn't that great. So I don't put too much emphasis on these signals. I rather put emphasis on the relative valuation. Thus, maybe in US dollar terms, Chainlink could perform well in case the overall cryptocurrency market does well. But in relative performance, it might not. So for the remainder of this video, let's look at an idea, at a trading idea to actually make money from this trend further going down. So if you're optimistic that Chainlink is going to continue to underperform Ethereum, which it might very well be, right? The circulating supply is only at 50%. So over the long term, more supply will hit the market. So potentially Chainlink might long term underperform further. So if that's the thesis, right? How can we actually make money from this? One way to do this is to borrow denominated in Chainlink and then swap that borrowed Chainlink into the asset we are bullish on. So let's say in this case, this is Ethereum. Then wait for a while, see how Ethereum appreciates versus Chainlink. And then afterwards, when we are happy with the gains, then again swap back that Ethereum into Chainlink. And since we don't have to swap all of the Ethereum back to Chainlink because Ethereum appreciated, that's then how we make money. So how can we do this in practice? The way I do this is I look at a platform such as DeFi Llama and I go over here to categories. And then we want to look for the lending category, right? Because we want to get a loan denominated in Chainlink. And then we look for the platform, for the blockchain that we want to make this transaction on. So we could do this on Ethereum, but there you've got quite high gas fees. You could also go with the Binance Smart Chain, with Avalanche, with whatever you're currently actively using. I personally like Phantom. I've got some money on Phantom right now. The gas fees are very, very low. So we just go to Phantom and then we look for a platform that we like. Usually the higher we go with the total value locked here, right? These are sorted by total value locked. The safer those platforms tend to be. Let's go to Geist Finance, the largest borrowing and lending platform for Phantom. It doesn't have that great of a time, but it's still the largest of the borrowing and lending platforms. So we go over here to website and then we come to the Geist.finance platform. And over here, we can see that we can borrow Chainlink for an APY of 3.6%. And on top of that, we also get rewarded in Geist tokens by 16.2%. So you actually even get paid to borrow here. Now, what's important to note here is that there is a lockup period for the Geist. So the Geist token might decline over time. So I wouldn't bet the farm on this, that you're really getting money out of this. If the Geist token totally implodes, then you're not really making much money here. So I would rather see this as a cherry on top and work with 3.6% borrowing costs. So what you're doing is you first deposit whatever collateral you're long-term bullish on. If you still think that Bitcoin might be a good bet over the very long term, then simply deposit your Bitcoin over here. You don't get much of an APY, but that's basically how it works. You deposit whatever you want to hold. If you rather want to hold Tether or DAI, you deposit that. Similar thing, right? You don't get that much of an APY. But you come over here, you click, say, on DAI, and then you deposit your collateral. Okay, so I don't have any DAI currently in this wallet, but that's basically how it works. You deposit your collateral, then you've got in your dashboard your amount that you've deposited. Now with that deposit, you can then borrow against this. You would then click on borrow, you would go to Chainlink, you would borrow against your collateral denominated in Chainlink. Then you've got a loan and you're required to pay back Chainlink in the future. So then you've got Chainlink in your wallet. What do you then do? You then swap the Chainlink, the link token, for the thing you're bullish on. So for example, in this case, this would be Ethereum. You've got bought Chainlink, you swap it against Ethereum, and then you have Ethereum in your wallet. What do you do with that Ethereum? You could do anything with it. The most straightforward way is to simply also just deposit this over here, get a bit of an APY, and make sure that you've got enough collateral on the platform in order not to get liquidated. So that's the most straightforward way. You bought Chainlink, you swap it against Ethereum, you deposit the Ethereum, you wait, you hope for the Chainlink to further decline relative to Ethereum. Once that happens, you do the exact opposite, right? You swap your Ethereum back to Chainlink, you pay off the Chainlink denominated loan, and you've got all that remaining Ethereum as pure profit. Now, does it make sense to jump on that exact trade right now? I think it might make sense. It's not a bad idea. There is, of course, a bit of a risk here. I think the risk is manageable. Simply make sure you've got enough collateral that you don't get liquidated and have to pay like this 10% liquidation fee. If that's true, then you've got a pretty clear trade over here, right? Just make sure you've got your stop loss and that you exit this in case we actually do break out of this long-term downwards trend, which I do not expect actually. I rather expect that Chainlink continues to underperform. So the current rally, in my opinion, is rather a chance to go bearish on Chainlink, to bet on falling prices, than to bet on rising prices, at least in relative valuation, not in the US dollar valuation. Now, if this is your first time on the channel, don't forget to subscribe. I publish videos regularly. There's also a premium membership of this channel. It's currently $49 per month. We discuss trading ideas over there. We also have a lot of exclusive content, one premium video every single day. Of course, Telegram channels where you can ask me any questions directly. So more information around all of this is in this video here. So hope to see you in that video and thanks for watching this one. Bye bye.